Hi everyone, welcome back to Apt Electronics. I'm your host Dane. If you've never bought a computer before, it can be quite a task. Knowing all the components you should be looking for and what would best fit your needs is a tricky situation to navigate. So in this video, I'm going to break down what the basics are when it comes to buying your first computer. I'll be going over the differences between Macs, PCs, pre-builts, and custom builds, laptops versus desktops, basically everything you need to know to have you asking the right questions when you're finally ready to buy one from Apt. So let's get started. When it comes to computers, they really fall into three main categories. First, you've got the traditional desktop tower. This is the classic setup everyone knows and loves. It's the big box that sits under your desk and stays in one place. And it typically has the most power and upgradability out of the three. Next is the all-in-one computer. I associate this design with something like an iMac desktop. You're getting desktop level performance, but all the components are built directly into the monitor, and this just gives you a cleaner, more minimal looking setup. And finally, there's laptops. Laptops are designed for portability. Now, they usually don't match the power of a full desktop, but they do let you take your computer anywhere you like a coffee shop or on the road, which is great for getting work done. So when shopping for a new computer, a very important question you have to ask yourself is, how do you plan on using the computer? Are you just browsing the web and answering emails and doing some schoolwork, or are you doing more intensive work like photo and video editing, gaming, music production, coding, and 3D work? Your decision will depend on what type of work you plan on doing. You don't want to buy more power than you need, it'll just be a waste of money at the end of the day. Buying an expensive computer and only using it for web browsing and answering emails is kind of like buying a Ferrari and only driving it in the city. You're never going to see its full potential. But if you do buy something that has more power than you need, it'll most likely be future-proof, so the computer won't be outdated in just a few years. So now that we know what the differences are between the categories and how you're going to be using the computer, another question you have to ask yourself is, do you want a pre-built computer or a custom-built one? Pre-builts are exactly what they sound like. They're ready to go right out of the box and they're plug and play. It's the most efficient and common way computers are sold, but on the flip side, custom builds are a lot more involved. Choosing this option allows you to decide each individual part that goes into the system. You can control the overall performance and make easy upgrades over time. It's convenience versus control. Pre-builts are easy and custom builds are flexible. So let's start to talk about the core components of what makes a computer a computer. This will help you decide what parts you need more of and what parts you can save some money on. First up is the motherboard. This is basically the foundation of your entire computer. Think of it as the central hub where all the parts plug into. The CPU, the GPU, storage, RAM, and even the power supply all connect through it, so choosing the right motherboard determines what parts you can and can't use. The main things you need to look out for is the chipset, the size, and the CPU socket types. These need to match your processor. Motherboards are broken up into three different groups: ATX, Micro ATX, and Mini ITX. Higher-end motherboards usually offer more ports, better cooling for power delivery, and extra features like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and more M.2 slots for storage. But if you're building a basic to mid-range system, you don't want to overspend here. Just make sure it supports everything you want to use and anything you might want to upgrade to later down the line. Next, the CPU, or the processor. This part is considered to be the brain of the computer. Companies like Intel, AMD, and Apple make great CPUs, but what really matters with this is the balance between the core count and the speed. Having more cores helps multitask in creative workloads, while having higher speeds makes everyday tasks run faster, like opening up web browsers and editing softwares. All right, now let's go over RAM. Think of this as your computer's short-term memory. These sticks of RAM are what your computer uses to juggle multiple apps, tabs, and files in real time. 8 gigabytes of RAM is the bare minimum you should have nowadays. 16 gigabytes is kind of that sweet spot for most people, and 32 gigabytes or more is perfect for heavy-duty editing and professional work. Then we move on over to storage. This is where all your files actually live. Some, if not most, computers use HDDs or hard drives, which are slower and are used for more storing data instead of running programs off of it. SSDs, however, are much faster and make a huge difference in how fast your computer feels. But the fastest storage option right now is NVMe storage. This gives you an almost instant boot up time and incredibly fast file transfer speeds, which is perfect for high data dense files. Now, next is the big boy, the GPU or graphics card. This piece of hardware handles the visuals, graphics in games, and video processing. A lot of other computers, like laptops, rely on integrated graphics, which are usually built directly into the CPU. These are usually fine for everyday use, for stuff like content consumption and answering emails, stuff like that, but more demanding tasks like gaming or 3D work need a dedicated GPU. And finally, the PCU, or the power supply unit. The PCU is what delivers stable power to every component in your computer. Buying a cheap or underpowered PCU can cause crashes or even damage to the system over time, so definitely something not to overlook. You want to look at efficiency rating and wattage. This should be high enough to support your GPU and your CPU. Now, these are broken up into different rankings, like 80 plus bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. A good rule of thumb is for most mid-range systems, a 550 to 750 watt gold-rated PCU is plenty. Higher-end computers with beefy GPUs may need something like 850 watts or more. Next up is the operating systems, and basically what this is the software that runs everything and defines how your computer's interface looks and feels. macOS is known for having a clean design, easy to use, and tight integration with other Apple products. It's widely known as the industry standard for creators and pretty much anyone who is already invested into the Apple ecosystem. Another reason why most people like macOS is Apple's strong security reputation. Apple products naturally make it harder for malware to spread, which keeps you safe from viruses when downloading a bunch of software from the internet. So if you're not too tech savvy, you still have that peace of mind when you're browsing the web. Now, on the other hand, Windows operating system is typically the most versatile option. It works best with the widest range of software and hardware, which makes it ideal for gaming and business. It's for the person who wants the most flexibility and customized options with their tech. And lastly, Chrome OS, which is built around simplicity. It's a cloud-focused software that is mostly used for web browsing, schoolwork, and just everyday tasks, especially if you're mostly working with Google-type apps. So if you purely want to know what to expect from each price point, here's a quick breakdown. For a budget build desktop that's great for everyday tasks like schoolwork, answering emails, and light creative work, you should expect to spend between $600 to $1,000. For a mid-range desktop, I expect something in the realm of $1,000 to $2,000. Here you can expect just better overall performance, smoother multitasking, and enough power to do some AAA gaming and content creation. And then for the high-end models, I'd say anything over $2,000 you can expect high-end performance. These systems are built for serious creative work and heavy-duty gaming, plus you're looking at long-term future-proofing. But one thing first-time desktop buyers usually overlook is the hidden costs. Desktops don't always come stock with everything you need. It's usually just the tower. You'll still need to buy a monitor, keyboard and mouse, either speakers or headphones, possibly a webcam, and a microphone too. If you get a custom build, you'll also have to purchase a Windows key for the operating system as well. So if this sounds like too much of a hassle, a laptop or an all-in-one desktop are perfect for simplifying your search. Everything is built into one system and they're easy to manage. You don't have to worry about buying any accessories. Everything is already there and it's simple as turning it on. But with that, you lose computing power and you're probably looking at a higher price point for the same amount of power you get out of regular desktop. So just something to consider when you're shopping. Now, here are some common mistakes that first-time PC buyers make. Don't buy solely based off of brand. At the end of the day, a computer is a computer. They all serve the same function, but just have different ways of going about it. Try not to buy specs that you'll never use. It's just a waste of money at that point. You should buy based on what you need unless you're planning on future-proofing. Don't forget, when buying a monitor, check the quality it outputs. A lot of first-time buyers will buy an amazing rig and then get a monitor with a 60Hz refresh rate and wonder why their computer doesn't look good or is running slow. It's not the computer, it's the screen that can't handle the power and is essentially bottlenecking your system. Make sure to buy a monitor with a good resolution and a high refresh rate. But I hope this video helped you out, and just remember, here at Apt, we sell and build custom PCs, and we're an authorized Apple dealer, so you can shop confidently online or come into the store and test drive them yourself in person. But that's it for me. I'm Dane with Apt. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.